2 biscuits. One for you, one for me.
In the heart of the bustling city of Brightsville, there lived a young squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was known throughout the neighborhood for his boundless energy and adventurous spirit. He loved nothing more than exploring the city streets, climbing trees, and playing with his friends. But Sammy had a problem. He lacked self-control. Whenever he saw something shiny or delicious, he couldn't help but indulge himself, even if it meant getting into trouble. Whether it was sneaking into the bakery to steal a handful of cookies or darting into traffic to chase after a shiny coin, Sammy's lack of self-control often led him into dangerous situations. One sunny afternoon, as Sammy was wandering through the park, he spotted a group of pigeons pecking at a discarded bag of popcorn. His mouth watered at the sight of the golden kernels, and before he knew it, he was darting across the park, his eyes fixed on the delicious snack. But as Sammy raced towards the popcorn, he failed to notice the skateboard lying in his path. With a yelp of surprise, he tripped over the skateboard and went tumbling head over heels, landing in a heap on the ground. As he lay there, dazed and disoriented, he realized that his lack of self-control had once again gotten him into trouble. As Sammy picked himself up and dusted himself off, he couldn't help but feel ashamed of his behavior. He knew that if he wanted to avoid getting into more trouble in the future, he would need to learn how to control his impulses and make better choices. Determined to change his ways, Sammy sought out the wisest animal in Brightsville, Old Man Oak, the ancient oak tree who had lived in the park for as long as anyone could remember. With his gnarled branches and wise old eyes, Old Man Oak was known throughout the city for his wisdom and sage advice. "Old Man Oak," Sammy said, his voice trembling with embarrassment, "I need your help. I can't seem to control myself, and it's getting me into all sorts of trouble. What should I do?" Old Man Oak listened patiently as Sammy poured out his heart, his branches swaying gently in the breeze. When Sammy had finished speaking, Old Man Oak spoke in a voice as gentle as the wind. "Self-control is like a muscle, young Sammy," he said. "The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. But just like any muscle, it takes time and practice to develop. If you want to learn how to control your impulses, you must first learn to pause and think before you act." Sammy nodded thoughtfully, his mind racing with the wisdom of Old Man Oak's words. He knew that if he wanted to change his behavior, he would need to start by learning how to pause and think before giving in to his impulses. And so, with Old Man Oak's guidance, Sammy set out to learn the art of self-control. Whenever he felt the urge to indulge himself, he would take a deep breath and count to 10, giving himself time to think before making a decision. Slowly but surely, he began to feel more in control of his impulses, and his reckless behavior began to diminish. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, Sammy's newfound self-control began to transform his life. No longer did he dart into traffic to chase after shiny objects or sneak into the bakery to steal cookies. Instead, he focused on making responsible choices and thinking before acting, and his life became richer and more fulfilling as a result. And as Sammy looked back on his journey, he realized that self-control wasn't just about avoiding acts of recklessness. It was about taking responsibility for his actions and making choices that reflected his values and beliefs. By learning to control his impulses, Sammy had become a better, more responsible squirrel, and he knew that with self-control by his side, there was nothing he couldn't achieve.